Hi there, Lord JEG here. What I wanted to talk about today is the fact that nobody is coming to save you. And what I mean by that is basically you have to work like nobody's coming to get you. Okay? Now, I'm obviously not the first person who's ever said this. I mean, after all, any of you who are Boy Scouts, you know the old saying, be prepared. Okay? And it's basically the same thing. And I can't really take credit for this. The Lord helps those who help themselves. That's another good one. But I kind of got the idea from a guy named Matt Graham. Not the survivalist guy. Okay? There's a different Matt Graham. He has a channel on YouTube called Graham Combat and a website called Graham Combat. Just for the record, I've never taken any of his classes. I've just kind of, I've admired his work for a few years now, and maybe one of these days, when I get a chance, I'll be able to take some of his courses. But he kind of brings more of a philosopher type perspective to combat, and I really appreciate that. But he has one particular thing. It's called the kill house. And we all know what a kill house is, or we should. But if you don't, a little refresher is a kill house. I think was started by the SAS, and basically it's a place where special operations groups train. If they have a situation and they get some intelligence that somebody's being held at X spot, basically they have a big, essentially a warehouse with movable walls. And what they do is that they move the walls so it's kind of the configuration of wherever the target is at, so they can basically do some dry runs with live fire to get an idea of what they're up against, and so that way they can train for the situation. Most good weapons schools now, tactics schools and whatnot, will have some form of kill house type training now. 20 years ago, not very common at all. Now, quite common. But what I like about getting back to Matt Graham and nobody coming to save you is that he actually encapsulated these 5 rules. And I just want to go over them really quick, and then we'll kind of put some into perspective here, and as it relates to what I'll be talking about. So the first one is, of course, nobody's coming to save you. Whether an event lasts a few seconds, a few hours, or even a few days, you have to work as though nobody is coming to save you. Okay, doesn't get more simple than that. Number 2, you are your savior. So start working, because everything is your responsibility. You are your security. You are your medic. You are your rescuer. Number 3, you are your own resource to save who needs to be saved. Nobody wants to save your life more than you, so set yourself up for success by having the simple tools and knowledge to do so. Do what you can with what you have. Recognize that nobody is in a better position to start saving your life than you. Number 4, sometimes saving lives means you have to kill who needs to be killed. And he goes on to say, it's been almost 15 years since I first wrote, the more effective you are at taking a life, the more successful you'll be at saving one. And nothing in the intervening time has changed my mind. Be swift, be decisive, be final. And then the 5th rule is mostly always be working. There's always something you can be doing to improve your position. Always, because nobody is coming to save you. So, to recap, nobody is coming to save you. Everything is your responsibility. Save who needs to be saved. Kill who needs to be killed. And always be working. Now, what does this have to do with, anything? Well, actually, it has quite a bit to do with everything, if you think about it. But the particular context that I wanted to put it in today is, as I said in an earlier video, I have some family that are addicts. They have substance abuse issues. Some are in treatment, some are in what's called recovery, and some are not. If you're a person who is involved with a person who is an addict, then you should also be trying to have some kind of recovery. And as such, that's kind of what this is going to. Now, I took these rules because they're good rules. I mean, they, like I say, they apply to everything, really. I mean, you might want to change the save who needs to be saved and kill who needs to be killed, and you can change that around with save what needs to be saved and kill or get rid of what needs to be killed, or what needs to be gotten rid of. Whether that's baggage or emotions or whatever, your neediness and codependence or whatever, But again, the rules still ring true. Nobody's coming to save you. And whether you believe in your higher power, if you're in, say, a Nar-Anon or NA, you can say, well, my higher power's coming to save me. Well, no, it's not. You can pray to Jesus every day, and that's fine. You should be doing that. If you believe in Jesus, then you should be praying to Jesus. But again, the Lord helps those who help themselves. Jesus isn't going to come down and tap you on the shoulder and go, what's up, dude? Better get to a meeting. Or, you really shouldn't be drinking that, dude. Or whatever, So again, nobody's coming to save you. You have to work on it yourself. Okay? Same thing with Rule 2. You are your Savior because everything is your responsibility. This is probably the hardest thing for most people to grasp in any kind of program. And, this, when I'm at meetings, this is the one that I really notice, whether it's on the addict side or whether it's on the family side or friend side. Everything is your responsibility. You as an individual, it's your responsibility. You're responsible for your own recovery. You're not responsible for their recovery. You're responsible for getting to your job. You're responsible for, making your mortgage payments. If you trust your wife or your boyfriend or, whatever to do it, even if they do it, 999 times out of 1,000, it only takes that one time to screw it up. So again, everything is your responsibility, and you just have to keep that in mind. Now for the fun part. Save who needs to be saved. Or in this case, maybe save what needs to be saved. Okay? Because again, nobody's coming to save you, and by that token, you're not going to save them. Now, you may, if you can do it in a way that's not enabling, then you should do that. You should save who needs to be saved. Okay? But there's the distinction. In a combat situation, yeah. If you're the only one who's capable of standing between you and the dude with the machete or the dude with the AR-15 or whatever, the dude with the shotgun, and you have the capacity to do it, then do it. Save who needs to be saved. But if it's in an addiction type situation, or it's in a relationship type situation, you have to evaluate this. Is it worth saving? Can you save it? Is saving it going to do more harm than good? And that's a tough question to address sometimes. But again, take stock, look through, and again, save who or what, in this case, needs to be saved. Conversely, kill who needs to be killed. Again, if it's a combat situation or a tactical situation and you're capable of doing it, then do it. Kill who needs to be killed. But if you can save more people, you aren't in that position, if you can save more people by evacuating them, or throwing up a barricade or whatever, again, then that's what it comes back down to. But again, kill who or what needs to be killed, if you can do it. Now, if you can't do it, or it's not practical to do it, then don't be stupid. Don't be a hero. And it's the same thing. If you knew that, let's say that the person that you're trying to help, in this case, let's say whatever, addiction situation, or say your marriage is falling apart, and your wife tells you, oh, it's because you work 80 hours a week or whatever. Are you going to kill that? Are you going to kill that 80 hours a week? I can't answer that. Only you can. Is that something that needs to be saved, or is that something that needs to be killed? Is that her excuse for leaving you, or giving you shit, or whatever? Or is it really, is it an excuse, or is it the real deal? Is that really the reason behind the problem? If it is, and you feel it needs to be killed to make the situation better, then you need to do whatever you can to kill that. So again, kill what needs to be killed, or who. And then always be working. Okay? This is like, what is it, the scene with Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross, right? Coffee is for closers. Always be closing, right? Well, it's the same thing. Always be working. Because there's always something that you can be doing, whether it's, helping out or not helping out in some cases. Again, you don't want to get to the point where you're enabling. See, this is the hardest part in recovery. And again, this is based on, on what I've seen going to meetings and, being involved with addicts basically my whole life. And that is there's kind of a fine line there, because you want to help them, and God knows they need the help. But again, you have to tread that line between, actually helping and enabling. But it's one of those things, if you need to go to more meetings to figure that out, or you need to go to a counselor to help with those issues, or something along those lines, you can talk to a pastor, you can talk to counselors, you can even go to psychiatrists or psychologists, although, you may have some limited luck with that. But again, always be working, always be trying to improve your situation. And, if you apply those 5 principles and you work them into everyday life, you'll find eventually, maybe not at first, but eventually, like everything else, it gets easier. And, sometimes that's just the lifeline you need, is to realize that those 5 principles, when you act on those 5 principles, you'll find that things will get better. Because I've found, anyway, for me, it's better if you rely on yourself than relying on other people. I mean, it's nice to have a support network, it's nice to have friends, it's nice to have a group, it's nice to belong. But at the end of the day, nobody's coming to save you. The sooner you get that through your thick head, the better off you'll be. Anyway, that's all I have for tonight. Thanks for coming by and listening to me rant for a little bit. And we'll talk to you later. Take care.